Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. The movie opens with Elvira, an 18-year-old girl who dreams of marrying Prince Julian. Rich, handsome, and everything she's not. She's neither wealthy nor beautiful. But after her father dies, her mother, Rebecca, is forced to find a new husband to save their family. So they move to a new kingdom, where they're welcomed by a nobleman named Otto and his stunning daughter, Agnes. From the moment they meet, Elvira is mesmerized by Agnes's beauty. But instead of envy, she admires her. Agnes even gives her a warm tour of their mansion and introduces her to Isaac, the horsekeeper. Elvira's room is like something out of a dream. Gorgeous dresses, sparkling jewels, and a view to die for. Soon after, Otto and Rebecca get married. But during the wedding banquet, something horrifying happens. Otto suddenly clutches his chest, spits blood, and drops dead on the table. The room freezes. Agnes falls into deep depression. She locks herself away, refusing to see anyone, except Elvira. Elvira, not known for her looks, has something else: kindness. She brings Agnes a cup of chocolate and tries to comfort her. But when she shares her own story of loss, Agnes explodes. Furious, she tells Elvira the cold truth. If it weren't for Rebecca's money, they would have never been allowed into their lives. Stunned, Elvira realizes everything was a lie. She runs to warn her mother that Otto family has no money, but it's too late. Their land is gone, and Rebecca breaks down, knowing no rich man will ever want a poor widow with two daughters. Elvira offers to marry someone, anyone, but her mother reminds her she's not pretty enough, and Alma, still just a child. Elvira looks in the mirror and faces the painful truth. She's not beautiful, and in this world that means everything. Meanwhile, Agnes breaks down in front of her late mother's portrait, begging not to be left alone. Just then, a white dove lands on her window, like a sign from above. But then, everything changes. An invitation arrives from the castle. The king and Prince Julian will host a grand ball for all noble virgin girls. And both Agnes and Elvira are invited. The race is on. Two girls. One prince. Only one crown. Desperate, Rebecca hires a shady doctor to transform Elvira. The first step? Remove her braces. It's quick and simple, and the result is instant. Elvira already looks better, but not enough. Next comes the nose. Rebecca picks a shape from a brochure, model number 7. The doctor nods and with cold precision, snaps the bone in Elvira's nose. Her screams echo through the room. But no one cares, except little Alma, who watches in horror. To heal, Elvira has to wear a strange, disfiguring device over her face. But the transformation isn't over. Both girls are sent to the finest etiquette school in the kingdom. There, they'll learn how to behave like true noblewomen. And soon, they'll face their biggest test yet. At the prince's ball, there will be a royal dance. The two best students will get the lead roles, putting them center stage, right in front of the prince and every powerful man in the kingdom. For Elvira and Agnes, this could change everything. Elvira quickly realizes things won't be easy. On the very first day of class, all the girls are asked to line up. Elvira takes a spot in the front row, but the teacher scans her from head to toe, frowns at the strange device on her nose, and orders her to the back. She's placed alongside the girls considered unattractive. From there, Elvira watches helplessly as Agnes, with her effortless beauty, remains in the spotlight, receiving smiles, praise, and attention. Back at home, things get worse. Rebecca forces Elvira onto a brutal diet, nothing but lemon water. And the worst part? Elvira isn't even overweight. While the other girls dine on fine meals, Elvira obediently sips her sour water, without a word of complaint. Meanwhile, Agnes, still grieving her father's death, tells Rebecca she wants to organize his funeral. But Rebecca coldly refuses. The funeral can wait, at least until after the royal ball. Once Elvira marries the prince, then they can mourn. Agnes is horrified. Her father's body is literally rotting, while money is being spent on dresses and surgeries. And now Rebecca even has the nerve to ask for her dresses, for Elvira and Alma to wear. Fuming, Agnes storms off and locks herself in the room where her father's body lies. As she approaches, the stench hits her. Flies are already circling him. It's too much. Days pass. Elvira works harder than ever in her classes, hoping to be worthy of the prince. Then, the list of selected girls is posted. Many names are crossed out. Elvira doesn't expect much, but to her surprise, her name is there. Barely. It's the very last one. During a class, Elvira finally gets a chance to perform. The teacher admits she's talented, but tells her it's being wasted because of her looks. She even confesses that she never wanted Elvira in the program. Her mother paid to keep her there. Still, the teacher gives her some advice. If she wants to shine, she'll need to work twice as hard. Elvira's journey gets rockier. She's secretly been sneaking food, so now none of the dresses fit. But then, a second teacher, kinder, more understanding, takes notice. She tells Agnes that the prince will love her for who she is. And when Elvira breaks down, confessing that no one could ever choose her, the teacher gently tells her she's wrong. She has so much more to offer. Yes, Elvira feels ugly. Yes, she feels worthless. But the teacher points out something powerful. She's trying to change the outside to reflect the beauty she already carries inside. Kindness, empathy, courage. They deserve to be seen. To help her, the teacher gives her a small gift and says, "What matters is what's inside." Later that day, Elvira goes riding with her sister Alma through the woods. There, she makes Alma promise to keep a secret. Once Alma agrees, Elvira reveals the gift, a tapeworm egg. Her plan? Swallow it. That way, she can eat anything she wants without gaining weight. The parasite will absorb the food for her. Alma is horrified. She warns her, this could ruin her health. She'll always feel hungry. But Elvira doesn't care. She's convinced this is her only shot at being thin and beautiful. She swears that after marrying the prince, she'll take the antidote. Alma, furious and heartbroken, calls her insane for blindly obeying their mother. She leaves, taking both horses with her, and Elvira is left alone in the woods. Elsewhere, Agnes finds comfort in Isaac, the stable boy. He's more than just a servant. He's her secret love. But Agnes confesses something painful. She has to marry the prince. Still, she promises Isaac. Her heart belongs only to him. Back in the woods, Elvira keeps her word. She swallows the tapeworm egg. Just then, she hears voices. Men. She hides behind a tree and listens. What she hears makes her skin crawl. They're talking about women like their property. Laughing, objectifying. Then she sees him, Prince Julian, relieving himself behind a bush. She accidentally catches a glimpse of his bare backside and is instantly infatuated. But she makes a noise. The men hear her. The prince's friends mock her, saying maybe she should use that mouth for something useful. Prince Julian turns, sees her nose device, and sneers. "I'd never let something like you touch me," he says with disgust. Most people would be devastated. But Elvira? She doesn't care. She's already obsessed. The humiliation only fuels her twisted determination. As night falls and she heads home, she passes the stables and hears something strange. Curious and suspicious, Elvira decides to investigate. To her shock, she catches Agnes having intimate relations with Isaac. Horrified, she runs straight to her mother and spills everything. As punishment, Agnes is harshly scolded and demoted to a lowly servant. Isaac, on the other hand, is fired on the spot. He's not even allowed to collect his belongings. This incident marks a turning point in Elvira's personality. Once sweet and compassionate, she now sees Agnes as a rival who could steal the prince from her. Fueled by jealousy, she turns cold and cruel. What's disturbing is that after exposing them, Elvira listens without emotion to Agnes's screams and Isaac's humiliation. She simply doesn't care. 3 full moons pass, and life at the house changes. Alma has developed a deep love for horses. Agnes, now a servant, has accepted her fate. Meanwhile, Elvira finally removes her facial brace, revealing a perfect nose. But with her newfound beauty comes a growing obsession. She begins to value her appearance more than anything else. Unable to stand that Agnes is still more beautiful despite everything, Elvira chooses to undergo another surgery, this time to implant longer eyelashes. The procedure is horrifying. The doctor sedates her while inhaling some himself, and an eerie nurse with one missing eye raises serious red flags. The method is brutal. Each eyelash is sewn in with a needle, leaving Elvira blindfolded for days. One night, Elvira wakes up ravenous. Her tapeworm is starving. Elma also wakes, but for a different reason. She's had her first period, a sign that she's now a woman. Fearing she'll be forced into marriage like Elvira, she hides all traces of it. Stumbling through the darkness, Elvira tears off her bandages and makes her way to the kitchen. The noise wakes Agnes, who finds her in misery, but instead of mocking her, Agnes helps her eat, displaying kindness that Elvira has long forgotten. As the days pass, the teachers grow concerned about Agnes's absence. She was the top choice for the lead role. Desperate, they look for a replacement, but none of the girls fit. That's when they see Elvira. Her new look impresses them, and she's chosen for the part. Elvira thinks she finally has it all, the role, the prince, and the freedom to eat without guilt, but her joy is short-lived. One night, she discovers clumps of her hair falling out. Meanwhile, Rebecca presents her with a custom-made dress, something breathtaking. Elvira is mesmerized. They call in Agnes to help her dress, and that's when things take a dark turn. The designer, seeing Agnes as nothing more than a servant, forces a kiss on her while no one intervenes. As Elvira is fitted into her gown, her falling hair is casually hidden beneath a wig. No one seems concerned. After all, she's expected to dazzle everyone at the ball. That night, no one sleeps. Rebecca pays for the dress with her own body. Elvira gorges herself. Agnes, desperate to attend the ball, tries to retrieve one of her old dresses, but Elvira catches her, snatches the gown, and rips it apart. Rebecca comforts Elvira and gives her a sedative to help her sleep. Agnes, heartbroken, falls asleep beside her father's decaying corpse, now crawling with worms. But suddenly, her mother's spirit appears. Using those very worms, she magically repairs Agnes's dress and transforms her childhood shoes. She promises that no one will recognize her, but warns that at midnight the carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. The night of the ball arrives. Elvira enters, glowing in her new dress and wig, accompanied by Rebecca. During the presentation of the girls, their names, ages, and height are read aloud. But the men care about none of that. They judge them solely by appearance. Their interest is purely physical. When it's Elvira's turn, Rebecca commands her to act like an obedient little puppy. The headmistress proudly boasts about her transformation. For the first time, Prince Julian shows interest, but it's hard to tell if he's enchanted by Elvira, or just by her prominent assets under the dress. After the presentation, a line of men queues up to dance with her. But the prince steps forward. He wants the first dance. Elvira is ecstatic. All the girls hope to be chosen, but it's she who caught his eye. The two begin to dance, lost in each other, or so she believes. Suddenly, the doors swing open. A mysterious girl enters, wearing a stunning dress that instantly overshadows Elvira's. The prince is captivated. Without a second thought, he leaves Elvira standing alone and invites the stranger to dance. Overwhelmed by rage, jealousy, and sadness, Elvira begins to feel an unbearable pain, an awful side effect of the parasite egg she ate earlier. The pain gets so intense that she runs to a corner and vomits, only to discover she's now throwing up parasite eggs. Just then, her mother appears. Terrified, Elvira begs for help, saying she's dying. But Rebecca doesn't care. Instead of comforting her, she fixes Elvira's makeup, slacks her across the face, and drags her back to the ballroom, forcing her to keep dancing with men. Elvira obeys, but in her feverish state she starts hallucinating. She sees parasites everywhere. Amid the chaos, she spots the prince dancing with the mysterious girl, and suddenly realizes it's Agnes. But before she can react, the clock strikes midnight. Agnes runs off, and the prince follows her, returning moments later holding a glass slipper. He announces that he'll marry whoever fits the shoe. Devastated, Elvira cries all the way home. But she refuses to give up. She hunts down Agnes, pulls a knife, and demands the shoe. The two get into a struggle until Rebecca shows up with a man from the ball. Distracted, Agnes lets go of the slipper, and Elvira snatches it and runs to her mother. But Rebecca doesn't even listen. She coldly tells Elvira she missed her chance and sends her to bed. As Rebecca flirts with her new suitor, Elvira desperately tries to force the slipper onto her foot, but her feet are too big. Then, she gets a horrifying idea. If she's already suffered so much to become attractive, why not go one step further? In a gruesome act of desperation, she puts her foot on the table, takes a deep breath, and slices off her toes. Her screams wake Alma, who rushes in, horrified. Rebecca arrives too, and her date faints at the sight of the blood. Despite everything, Elvira begs them to finish the job so she can wear the shoe. Rebecca ignores her pleas and sedates her, but then realizes the worst part. Elvira cut off the toes on the wrong foot. The princess slippers for the left foot, not the right. Seeing how far her daughter is willing to go, Rebecca decides to take over. Alma, unable to watch, leaves in protest. Alone with Elvira, Rebecca finishes the job, cutting off the toes on both feet. In a drugged, dreamlike state, Elvira imagines the prince arriving, slipping the shoe onto her foot perfectly and declaring her his bride. But it's all just a fantasy. The next morning, trumpets blare. The prince is truly here. Elvira, hungry and bandaged, tries to get out of bed but collapses, breaking the tooth. In pain, she crawls toward the entrance. As she throws herself down the stairs, her nose snags. Miraculously, she makes it to the door, but it's too late. Agnes appears, steps outside, and the prince announces he has found his princess. Everything Elvira endured, her pain, humiliation, and sacrifices, was for nothing. Her dreams shatter instantly. Alma finds her broken and realizes enough is enough. They need to leave. But first, she must remove the parasite from Elvira's stomach. She gives her the antidote, and almost immediately, Elvira starts coughing up blood. Then, the parasite begins to emerge. Alma grabs it and pulls with all her strength. It had grown several meters inside her sister. After a brutal struggle, she yanks it out entirely and cuts it in half. Before leaving, Alma collects a few valuable items. While doing so, she finds her mother pleasing her new suitor. Rebecca notices but doesn't care. She has what she wanted, a man and financial security. Finally, Alma helps Elvira onto a horse, and the two sisters escape the cursed mansion. As they ride off together, they cling to one last hope, crossing the border before nightfall. And that's the end of this twisted fairy tale. Sometimes, chasing a dream at any cost can turn into a nightmare. Beauty, love, validation, none of it is worth losing yourself. If this story left you thinking, then it did its job. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.